guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Carly. Today, I am going to be doing a video about all of my postpartum must-haves. I recently had my first baby, Wilder. He is now 8 weeks old, and postpartum is a really difficult time. It is probably, in my opinion, it was the hardest part of pregnancy altogether. I put him down for a nap. He's waking up. Hopefully I can get through everything before he wakes up. So anyway, like I was saying, postpartum is a really difficult period to get through. It's the period that I felt like I needed the most support, and I had a really quick recovery. For those of you who don't know, I had a planned home birth, so everything that I went through I experienced at home, and those first few days postpartum were at home. Gotta go get him. Someone's awake. So like I was saying, I am 8 weeks postpartum. This is Wilder. He has woken up from his nap, so he is gonna be doing this video with me. So let's go ahead and get into it, huh? You're doing such a good job. Let's go. So, these are in no particular order after this, but this one is definitely my most important must-have for postpartum, and that is a big bottle of water. I kept this bottle with me every single time I would breastfeed him. I would have this bottle of water with me too. Either my partner Drew was filling it up for me, my mom was filling it up for me, I was filling it up whenever I had the chance, but I always made sure to drink lots and lots of water. I definitely recommend getting one that is really big and holds a lot of water so that you're not getting up a bunch. You're already gonna be dealing with breastfeeding and changing the baby and like paying attention to them. Water is so important for postpartum recovery. The water is going to help your breast milk supply come in. It's going to help with your wounds healing. It's gonna keep you hydrated. I mean, it's essential in everyday life, but it is really essential whenever you're recovering. So highly recommend getting you a big water bottle, keeping it with you at all times, and making sure that I made it a rule that every time I was breastfeeding Wilder, I had this with me and I was drinking it too. So that's my first and most important recommendation for postpartum recovery. Still on the water game. Next on the list, I actually do not have any more with me because I use them all, but they are the Depends women's like adult diaper underwear. They have a mesh waistband. I had a home birth, like I said, so I didn't have like the hospital giving me the mesh underwear that you get whenever you deliver at a hospital. So I had to buy my own, and they were amazing. I didn't wear regular underwear for probably 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. It was nice because I didn't have to mess with like regular underwear and like doing laundry. Whenever I was done with the diaper underwear, all I had to do was throw it away. And that was nice because it took laundry off my list. After you give birth, you don't have as much control over the muscles that you use to hold your pee in. So sometimes you might find that you pee a little bit. I found that whenever I had to go to the bathroom, it was like as soon as I thought about having to go to the bathroom, it was like those muscles were triggered, and I had to try so hard to keep my pee in. I peed myself entirely one time, like just totally peed myself, and that would have been awful if I had just been wearing like an overnight pad on regular underwear. It would have probably soaked through, but because I had the adult diaper on, it was not a big deal at all. Just took them, throw them away, and put another one on and called it a day. It might feel like overkill at one point, but I'm telling you, when it comes to like being in public, you may or may not be peeing yourself and you don't know because you're also bleeding a lot. So for me, it was like when I had a lot of blood coming out, it's like my body thought I was peeing, and then I would have to try to control those muscles that keep your pee in, and it's hard. It's hard to do. So that is definitely something that I would recommend, is getting those adult diapers and just wearing those, because I think that they are amazing. So with that, I would actually pair these pads with them. This brand is really great. They are chlorine free and hypoallergenic cotton. And so what I liked about them is that they actually don't have any wings on the side. They're just like a curved pad. And so what I would do was take the underwear that I was wearing, the diaper underwear, and then put a pad on it, because whenever the bleeding lightens up after, for me, I lightened up after about like 3 to 5 days. My bleeding lightened up a lot, but I was still bleeding. It was just not constant all day, and it would just be like a random blood flow. So those were nice because every time I went to the bathroom, which was frequently because I was drinking so much water, every time I went to the bathroom, I didn't want to have to change the diaper because I hadn't used much of it. So I would put one of those pads in, and then every time I used the bathroom, I would just take the pad out, put a new pad in, and pull the diaper up, but still have the protection of the diaper. So I really liked those because they don't have any wings, so it didn't have any issues like sticking and adhering onto the diaper. And I could just wear them and call it quits, and it was super nice to not have to worry about if I peed myself or if I like didn't bleed a lot, I wouldn't have to change the whole thing. So it was a nice kind of layering combination to make it the most functional for me. I also got these perineal cooling pad liners by Freedom Mom. They have witch hazel on them, and so this helps with healing, it helps with swelling, it helps with itching if you have any stitches or tearing or anything like that. I would take these, they're really long, and so I would take these and do kind of like a combo. So they're, like I said, they're really cooling. Right after you have the baby, all of your muscles, especially your perineum, is very, very tender and very sore. Obviously, you just pushed a baby out. I found that for me, I needed a lot of relief for my perineum. I had a little bit of tearing. It was about 1st degree tearing, but I did not have any stitches. My midwife recommended that it would heal on its own. It wasn't too severe that it needed any stitching. So I opted to heal naturally. So in order to help with that soreness, I would layer one of these on top of one of the pads and then put the pad on top of the diaper. So it was like a little sandwich. So I would do that pretty much every single time I used the bathroom, and then like pulling up the diaper and kind of like smushing everything up so that the liners would touch from front to back. And it was the best sensation. It was so cooling, and it just calmed down the swelling so much, and really, really helped keep my perineum from aching all the time. Do you want to wake up? No. Okay, so the baby woke up and my camera battery died. So I am sitting back down to finish the video now. Wilder is awake and sitting next to me, so if you hear any cooing, it's just him next to me. But anyway, I'm just gonna get back into it. So the next thing that I think is essential for postpartum recovery is one of these. This is a Peri Model. You will probably get one from the hospital or the birth center or your midwife, whoever you're delivering with. They will likely send you home with one of these. This is amazing. You fill it up with warm water, and you spray it down on your perineum, you spray it on your vagina whenever you are using the bathroom. After you deliver, you are gonna be sore. There's a chance that you have maybe torn and you might have stitches. Having this is the best thing ever. I use this literally every single time I use the bathroom for probably 6 weeks. I would take it with me whenever I left the house, and I kept it on my sink so that it was right next to me every single time I went to the bathroom. This is just amazing to have because the first time you use the bathroom, it burns a lot. And not even only the first time. Like for me, it probably burned the first few days, and then after that you're bleeding a lot, and using the bathroom is just kind of difficult because you're so sore. But yeah, I use this literally every single time I went to the bathroom because you are really, really sore and you do not want to use toilet paper whenever you use the bathroom, and you use the bathroom a lot. So this is definitely a must have. So the next thing that I found to be essential for my recovery was Epsom salt. I would take a bath pretty much every other night, just to kind of take a little bit of time away. I would fill it with warm water, put Epsom salt in it, and just soak for about 15 minutes. Epsom salt is great for healing. Like I said, I had some tearing, so that was really, really helpful for me in order to help those tears heal a little bit faster. And it was just super soothing to be able to take some time away. I'd light candles, I'd play music. I would put warm washcloths over my nipples too, because I was a little bit engorged with milk. And so I would put warm washcloths on my nipples to help release some of the milk, and I would just soak in the Epsom salt and just like take a breather, take a moment to myself, and I found that to be really essential. You can actually order a sitz bath, which is like a little plastic dish that sits on your toilet, and you can fill that with warm water and put Epsom salt in it if you don't have time to take a full bath. But I kind of made it like a ritual for me to just take some time away and relax a little bit more instead of feeling like I was just kind of like sitting in it on the toilet. I wanted it to be a little bit more of like a relaxing experience. So I really found that to be beneficial for me, not only for like physical healing, but also for kind of like emotional and mental peace too. It was nice. I'd put some essential oils into the bath. I would put a little bit of lavender in just to kind of help relax a little bit. On top of that, this is something that I found to be really beneficial, and this is something that I got from my doula. I used dried herbs whenever I took a bath too. It was just really relaxing, and like I said, it became kind of a ritual for me to do just to take some space to myself. So these next few essentials are actually focused a little bit more on breastfeeding, but these are some of my essentials that I still consider postpartum because it is a really big part of postpartum. First and foremost, whenever my milk supply started to come in, I had a pretty good amount of milk. So every single time I would breastfeed, I would have letdown come out of the other boob. Every time I would look down, it was like all over everything that I was wearing. So I ended up getting one of these, which is a Haka. It's like a silicone manual breast pump. And so what you do is you fold this little bit down like this. And then you stick your boob, you stick it like right over your boob, over your nipple, and it goes over like your entire areola. And then you flip this little lip back up over your boob and squeeze it, and then it suction cups onto your nipple. What this does is it catches the milk and the letdown that you would otherwise lose. And so whenever I use this, I end up getting like a couple of ounces every single time. This holds 5 ounces. And for the side that makes a little bit more milk, I usually get like 4 ounces. And on the side that produces a little bit less, I end up getting like 3 ounces. So this is an absolute must for me. Like I said, I'm 8 weeks postpartum now. Now that I've been breastfeeding for 8 weeks, it's kind of like regulated itself. It doesn't leak quite as much. But in the beginning, I was losing so much milk. And so this was amazing to have to catch that milk, and then you can feed it to your baby, you can store it in the fridge and use it for another time, put it in the freezer and use it for another time, but this is amazing. I ended up using reusable breast pads like these. I tried the disposable ones. I tried like 2 other brands of reusable nipple pads, but all of them were awful. All of them would leak all over everything. I wanted to get something that was organic and cotton and something that was nice on the skin because I knew I'd be using them all the time. Basically what you do with these is, it's pretty self-explanatory, but you just take one and put it in one side, and take the other one and put it in the other side, and you are good to go. I definitely ordered these on Amazon, but this is the best brand that I found so far. A couple other brands, they don't fit well and they leak. Definitely recommend these, and like I said, I'll link this specific brand below just in case you want to pick them up too. So next thing is this nipple salve. What I would do is every time I would get done pumping, I would take this, rub it on my hands and warm it up, and then put it on, put the nipple pads on, and then put my nursing bra on top of that. Breastfeeding can be a tricky journey to go through. Breastfeeding should not hurt. If you're having pain or if it's like excruciating pain to breastfeed your baby, there's usually some sort of just malfunction somewhere. Sometimes it's just a latching issue. Sometimes your baby can have like a tongue tie. Sometimes it depends on like the shape of your nipple. If you have inverted nipples or flat nipples, it can be really difficult. My entire life, I thought I had identical nipples until I started breastfeeding, at least. And then when I started breastfeeding, it became very clear that one of my nipples is pretty flat. So I had a little bit of trouble with my baby latching for the first week or so. We eventually were able to work through it. But because there is so much action on your nipples, either you're breastfeeding your baby in order to keep my supply up, every time I would breastfeed, I would pump right afterwards. And so if my baby wasn't breastfeeding, I was pumping. And so it's just like a lot of tugging and pulling on your nipples. Even if everything's going really well and it doesn't necessarily hurt, your nipples still can be really, really sensitive. And I know mine were. This was amazing. Absolutely love it. Now with nursing bras in mind, I had a really hard time finding a good nursing bra that fit. I had a larger chest before I got pregnant, and then after I got pregnant and started breastfeeding, they got even bigger. So every single brand that I found for nursing bras or bralettes never carried my size. So I finally was able to find a nursing bra, or a couple of nursing bras from Torrid that fit me very well. These are amazing. I ended up ordering 2 of these types that have a racer back. These have the classic little clasp at the top that opens down for breastfeeding. So I ended up ordering 2 of these, I think, and then they also make a nursing tank top too that has the same like clip down function, but it's a tank top. I got 1 of these camis and 2 of those bras, and then I'm actually wearing the other one. This one's a little bit different. It doesn't have like a classic clip. It's just kind of soft and has enough give and stretch that I can nurse with this one on. And I like this one a little bit more because it has more coverage. The other ones, whenever I sleep with those, they tend to be a little bit less comfortable. So this one is really good for sleeping in. I rotate between the 3 that I got, and then I ended up ordering another one on Amazon that has slits for pumping too. So these are all nursing bras, strictly nursing bras. They don't have like a pump slit in them too. So the combo of these 2 different types of nursing bras ended up working out really well for me. There's no way I could sleep without a bra on. I used to sleep without a bra on every single night. Whenever you're breastfeeding, you leak everywhere, especially at nighttime. So the days of sleeping without a bra are long gone with breastfeeding. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a good nursing bra and some good nipple pads to help with leaking whenever you're asleep. So these are my favorite ones for anyone who has a larger chest and can't find one that fits really well. These are amazing. I will link all of these down below as well. Another thing that you want to definitely make sure you have is clothes that have easy access to your boobs. So for me, that came in the form of like this. I'm wearing it right now. It is just like a black romper that's very stretchy, and so I can take it on and off really easily and have access. And I usually end up wearing like a shawl over it now that it's gotten a little chillier. I have another shirt that is like a button-down nightgown that I wear a lot too. That one's really nice because you can just unbutton the top and nurse that way. I also recommend getting some sort of robe. I pretty much exclusively lived in a robe the first like 2 weeks because I was getting used to pumping and breastfeeding. Being able to just kind of be comfy like that was really nice. As I've kind of gotten more used to it, I've just been throwing shawls over top everything. This one is from Anthropologie. It's actually a scarf, but I just wear like wraps with everything to stay a little bit warmer, but still comfy enough to just kind of take it off and breastfeed whenever you need to. So speaking of comfy, this is definitely not a necessity by any means, but I find them to be a necessity because I absolutely adore these. They are these fuzzy slippers that I got on Amazon. I love these. I have been wearing them every single day since I gave birth. You know, I just think that it's so important to have something cozy like this to walk around the house in. You are up feeding your baby a lot in the middle of the night, and for me, like I said, it's pretty chilly now, so having these has just been really nice to be able to slip on and just have something a little cozy on your feet. 2 days after I got these slippers, one of these 2 faces chewed up this side of the slipper. So don't know who it was yet, but I still wear them anyways because they're that comfortable. One other thing that I will mention, it's not necessarily like postpartum recovery related, but it is something that I think is essential, and that is a boppy. I have used this thing so much. My baby loves this. I use it every single time I breastfeed. Like I said, I have a little bit of a larger chest, and so breastfeeding positions are really difficult with a larger chest. And so for me, the best thing that I could do was like a football hold. And so I will just wrap the pillow around my waist and then lay my baby down on the side of it, and that gives him the best angle to get a good latch. And then I lay him on it. He loves to relax on it and kind of lounge on it. So I absolutely adore this. But yeah, I think those are all of the things. The 4th trimester and postpartum can be a really difficult time. I don't know. You definitely want to go easy on yourself. Try to be as patient with yourself as you can be. I know it's hard to not feel like you want to just jump back to being normal again. Just try to soak up every second you can with your new baby. Honestly, that is just the best part, obviously, is having your new baby and trying not to get hung up on the idea that you need to be healed in, you know, X amount of days, or back to the gym, or back to yourself, or, you know, going out in public, or letting people come to your house. You know, whatever time you need to heal, take it for yourself and just try to soak up every single second you can with your new baby. That time, I mean, it just flies by. That is probably the #1 postpartum recovery tip I can give you, is to just take the time that you need for yourself when you need it, and rely on the people around you that you can. There's so much going on that it can feel really overwhelming. So just try to take it as easy as you can and focus on the thing that's really important, which is just being with your baby. And enjoying, like I said, trying to enjoy every second that you can. But hopefully some of these things can aid in that recovery time and that recovery process. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, definitely subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!